Hi, I'm Selena. Welcome to the CoreFit lifestyle. Come do Pilates with me. This is a beautiful movement practice on the Pilates chair that targets your waistline. Some people may call it the muffin top, depending on whether or not you feel that it is a problem area. We're going to anchor the shoulder into the upper back, loading the straight arm by stabilizing through the side line. That's the waistline. I want you to keep both knees equally weighted, so equal weight, making sure to keep the shoulder anchored all the while. Now we're going to scoop up through the navel and rotate. Inhale, exhale. As the pedal comes toward you, your navel is lifting away from the floor. So a lot of abdominal work here and control as you move through the rotation. You're focused on using your abdominals, specifically your obliques, to take the movement in a smooth flow. And the exhale as the navel comes up, and the inhale as the ribcage moves around. We're always thinking about pulling the navel away from the floor, lifting that bottom rib away from the floor, but keeping both knees equally weighted. So the pelvis is not shifting toward the chair, the ribs are lifting away from the floor. Shoulder stays anchored in the back. As much as you can, get that top elbow over the air. Pull up from below, from beneath you. Pull up from underneath. Really good. And now we add the rotation by pressing up through the navel, turning the rib cage toward the floor, but as well, keeping both knees equally weighted. Moving against the resistance of the spring, connecting and rounding, and using the exhalation as you're turning your chest down, inhaling as you're opening your ribs up. Really focus on using your abdominals. You should feel this more in the abdominals than the shoulders. Again, the navel takes dominance here, rotating through the rib cage, but the shoulder remains anchored. If you're feeling this more in your shoulder, then you need to take your body weight more over the pedal and take over from the navel. So we can focus on pulling the hips forward of the knees and rounding up to resist that spring. Inhale to turn, exhale to press. The work is on the return, leveling the shoulders, working against the resistance of the spring as your obliques move your back into the flat position. Scooping, rounding, tucking tail between the legs, chin is under the chest. Scoop and exhale. We're connecting the forehead to the hands, placing most of the weight over the pedal, isolating the muscles in the abdominals and the obliques as you go side to side. It's a rib cage rotation, as well as a flexion in the spine as the chest moves down toward the thighs. You're really moving the opposite shoulder to the top of the opposite thigh. Think of the armpits facing the ceiling and the opposite armpit pressing toward the knee on the floor. Connect. Scooping up into the dome spine, top of the head toward the pedals. We continue with our rotation. Body weight more over the front of the feet. And you put most of your body weight to the mercy of the pedal, which is going to give your abdominals a greater opportunity to find the stability. Tucking the tail between the legs, body weight over the front of the feet. Notice the shift. Lift from the navel, round up, exhaling. Lift from the navel, round up. Tuck the tail between the legs. Exhale as you push upward. Body weight over the hands. Get 50% of your body weight over those hands and trust the pedal. Scoop up round. All the muscles in the abdominals working on this one. Going back to the rotation. Inhale to return. Exhale to press. Stay over the front of the feet. So the core has to do the work to stabilize. Anchor the shoulder in your back. You should feel this more in your center than your shoulder. Pull. Focused and concentrated on moving body weight over those hands, anchoring shoulders into the back. And we're pulsing the rotation now. So opposite armpit to the opposite knee, round up in the spine. Transfer the hands, turn with the armpits, round up in the spine. Great work tucking tail between the knees and moving the hips and body weight over the pedal, trust it, rotate. And we're keeping the pedal anchored as well as the shoulder, pressing into the feet to lift up from the bottom waistline, zipper. Zipper. Top hand is behind the head. Moving into the plank, dropping the pelvis, rotate. Pivoting at the knees, center, anchor shoulders, navel to the spine, turn that pelvis. Zipper. Bottom waistline, zippering up away from the floor, shoulder stays anchored in the back, pull. Stabilizing the lower body by opening up on that ring, no change in the pelvis. Think about balancing a glass of water on the side of your waist. And now only the ribs alone are working, shoulder stays fixed. We're isolating that top oblique majorly. Holding the pelvis, the rotation is happening from the obliques. Only the ribs cage alone is working. Only the ribs alone are moving. The pedal is lifting to facilitate the movement flat and work against the resistance. Always pulling up from the navel. Major balance. Major core stability. Pulsing to isolate that top oblique, hold the pelvis, work the ribs. Very stable pelvis. The movement is happening in the ribs. So all the muscles that wrap around your torso are working to stabilize and isolate. This one may look simple, but it's certainly not easy. Anchor the shoulder. The rotation happens in the rib cage, not ringing the shoulder. We want to be turning from the chest. Lift that navel, push the chest out and up. And breathe. Lift up, inhale. Now we pulse, just the ribs. Hold that stable pelvis by opening up your legs on that ring. And now we stretch, moving into the mermaid. On the chair, draw the shoulders away from the ears. Pull up on that bottom waistline. Elbow over the ear, get long. Heel stays anchored on the floor and you're breathing. add the rotation, pulling the pedal to you by drawing the navel up and resisting the spring. So we pull, so we press. Exhale to pull the navel up, pull the pedal toward you, rounding. Inhale to open the top rib, inflate it. Connect from the bottom rib, reach elbow over air and find the length. This is an opportunity to connect with your breathing. Fill the top rib with air as you inhale. Now we add the rotation from the navel, scoop and round. Inhale to return. Exhale to scoop and round, pressing the navel up into the back. Turn those ribs, elbow over air. Press it away. And then lift for the ceiling and return.